Hey you all, so I'm deciding I'm continually being consistent and I'm making this video despite the fact that Hurricane Laura is close to Louisiana. And y'all, I would really appreciate it if you just give me prayers because I'm not leaving, I'm staying, and I'm hoping this storm, this hurricane does not move an inch or two to the right, otherwise it could be looking worse for us. So Sherri Shepherd is basically talking about leaving The View. Hi, welcome to JOA. If you're new to my channel, please click subscribe and click the bell button so you'll be the first to know when I upload. So Sherri Shepherd was on The View for 7 years with Barbara Walters, Whoopi Goldberg, and Joy Behar, and she mentioned that it was the most painful experience that I've ever gone through, but it was the best experience. And Sherri Shepherd grew up in a strict Jehovah's Witness household in Chicago. She was a legal secretary, and then she started doing stand-up comedy, and she was on a single episode of Friends, and then she went back to her legal secretary job, and then she landed a job on The View, and she did a movie or two during that time. So she was on The View for 7 years, and she talks about how she was going through a divorce with that ex-husband of hers, Lamar Sally, and he also tried to basically up his child support pay for her to pay extra money. I believe, according to sources, she was paying $4,100 a month. The judge did deny the upruling of increasing the monthly child support income, and he went back to court all because he saw that Sherri Shepherd, allegedly was getting more jobs, which means increased pay. So she talked about how Barbara Walters was very hard on her. She mentioned that Walters basically said, "I love you. I just need you to read a book, dear, and learn to defend what you believe and speak up." And a lot of you guys got pissed off at me one time when I made a commentary about Sherri Shepherd in regards to I felt like she was dumb as a box of rocks, and you guys went, some commentary was like, well, she makes more money than you. Well, let me tell you this, someone could definitely make millions of dollars a year and still be dumb as box of rocks. I mean, R. Kelly can't read, Floyd Mayweather can't read, R. Kelly can't perform simple mathematical equations, but yet he's a multimillionaire. Not sure about now, but you get my drift. And watching The View during that time, I find that she was just a soundbite. She was worse than even Abby Huntsman. She couldn't even formulate an opinion on what's going on in the world. And while she did find her grip a little bit over the years, it's very it's confirming to me by reading this quote that Barbara Walters told her about that she needs to open a book. And this also makes me come to a realization when Sherri Shepherd approached or confronted Barbara Walters. I'm not even going to say confronted. I'm just going to say she just didn't like the fact that Barbara Walters said an N-word. Although the N-word was a part of the story. And I do agree with her because, I don't... it's just the anti-word. I don't say it. I don't think anybody who isn't like African American should say it, and it's just like it gives me these bad chills around my back. And I remember during that time when she had this big stance on being against the LGBT community in 2014, when she caused an uproar and people wanted to cancel her, and she said this quote, "You love who you love. I've evolved. Look, my best friend Tommy Borden, he's been married to his husband Timmy for the last 17 years. I couldn't even make 2 marriages work past 6 years. Who am I judging anybody?" And then she also writes, "When people want to cancel me and take full page ads on me and take it outside the View, I would cry because I would go, if you know my heart. I came from doing stand-up and making people laugh and doing sitcoms. She thinks we all need to slow down and lead with love. I wish we were a culture of loving and going. Let's just see, hold on before we go. Click, your entire life is done, your livelihood, you can never come back from this. Now there are of course cases where it's just like you need to be in jail." And she also made this realization, and I kind of knew this before when she was on to Wendy Williams, when she said she thanked Rosie O'Donnell to this day because I was being asked to join The View. They offered me less than Elisabeth Hasselbeck, who only done Survivor and worked for Puma, making the tennis shoes. And then when I thought about this, I was thinking, okay, well, this is a white woman versus a black woman pay, where a white privileged money makes more money than a black woman. Then I also thought, well, Elisabeth Hasselbeck was the only conservative on the show. She's basically, before Meghan McCain became on The View, and how tough it can be to have an opposition of opinion for the show. But then I'm also saying that during that time, Elisabeth Hasselbeck was on the show, it wasn't as intense as it is today. So maybe there is an imbalance when it comes to pay, considering that Sherri Shepherd has more experience being in the media than Elisabeth Hasselbeck does at the time. So it's very nice for Rosie and Donnell to help her. And basically, Shepherd says, I thank Rosie O'Donnell to this day, because when I was being asked to join The View, they offered me less than Elisabeth Hasselbeck, but only done Survivor and worked for Puma, making the tennis shoes. That didn't stop her and Hasselbeck from becoming close. She says, in quote, now I love my girl. She was my bridesmaid at Sherri Shepherd's wedding in 2011 to Lamar Sally, which ended in divorce in 2014. But there was no way I should have been offered less than Elisabeth Hasselbeck with my credits. I just didn't know. Shepherd agents at the time says they didn't know either. It was a small agency, but Rosie O'Donnell called me and she said, this is what I make, this is what Joy makes, this is what Elisabeth makes, this is what you should ask for. She helped me negotiate through the entire process. And to me, this is, look, I may be all about mouth and everything, but one thing I don't do is tell people how much I make. And the fact that Rosie O'Donnell knew how much everyone make, to me just seems kind of a problem, because baby, my check and my bills is none of your business unless you're paying for it. All right. And so according to people, it was saying Sherri was asked to leave The View in 2014, and she says, I sat in my dressing room in front of the mirror and I couldn't breathe, and I said, Lord, I got this child with these challenges, this divorce is coming down the pike, this is going to be bad, what am I going to do? And there was a small voice, because I'm very spiritual, it's a small voice, it sounds like Barry White, that asked, do you trust me? And I said, absolutely not. I'm hanging out on my faith by the skin of my teeth, and God, that's all I need. So today she's doing a podcast with Kim Whitley. She recently did an appearance on Garcelle Bouvet, who's now going to be on the Real podcast, and she hangs with Niecy Nash and other celebrities, and they get together and they talk about the money and kids and divorces. And she seems to be doing well for herself. But the fact that they told her to leave The View in 2014, when in the media kind of made it seem like it was her choice, which pretty much doesn't really have me believing that Jedediah, you know how it is, they just like to make it peaches and cream on the air, but behind the scenes is like, baby, you got to find a new job. So, she's doing well for herself, and I wish her even well. And thank you guys so much for listening. Please pray for me. Please do subscribe and click the bell button so you'll be the first to know when I upload. Deuces. Yeah.